Let's go!
Time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
What did I tell you today, Phil? What did I tell you would happen today?
But you told me we were going to get Mike Mullis.
Right, and we are getting him. But what else did I tell you? Do you notice anything?
It's raining and cold.
Yes, but do you notice anything?
Yes, I do. And yes, I know what you told me.
Was I right or was I right?
You were wrong. I was right.
No. I was correct.
No.
In that I would spill something on myself.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to say, I said that you wouldn't be wearing the same shirt as when you and I had that conversation earlier, and we were goofing off.
And I told you I would unless I spilt something on my shirt. And guess what I did at lunch?
You spilled something on your shirt. What'd you spill?
Something on my shirt.
What'd you spill?
Food. I'll just say that.
Well, that's a boring way to put it.
Might have been some barbecued and chopped pork. May have been.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Come on, at least say, come on. You're living in East North Carolina. Even if it's not barbecue, you have to lie and say it was barbecue.
It was barbecue, yeah.
Okay.
I'm afraid it was. Healthy-ish. Better than some things you could eat, right?
Yeah.
So we got Pirate football coming your way on Saturday. It'll be ECU and Temple. We'll talk about that in some more detail here in a moment when we do our top 5 at 5. We do have Mike Mullis on today as the Blue Jays have tied it up, and that will also be part of our top 5 at 5 today. I don't want to give short shrift to something that I vetoed for Pilk. So,
everyone, a little breaking news for you.
There is some NFL news today, Pilk. So you were real gung-ho to do. So I think we ought to let you tell the folks what's going on. I don't want to get, because this is just as much your show as it is mine, Pilk.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate it as your official co-host. So Aiden Hutchinson has become the highest guaranteed paid non-quarterback in NFL history after signing a 4-year deal worth, I had it over here, $180 million with $141 million of that guaranteed. If you can't pay the quarterback, you got to pay the guy to sack the quarterback. But they're paying the quarterback a good amount of money, too.
That's a great way to put it. If you can't pay the quarterback, pay somebody to get to the quarterback. It's a good point. Hey, do we have an intern in today, by the way?
Yep, DeMarco's in.
Oh, intern DeMarco's in. Very good. Very good. Well, there you go. I mean, Pilk, the contracts just keep getting more obscene and more obscene. I mean, they're not as obscene as an NBA contract because those guys make bukus of money and don't work for it. So, I mean, look, good for him. Maximize your shelf life. Maximize that earning potential while you can. And don't spend it on anything stupid. I mean, splurge a little, but make sure you pay your taxes.
Well, I'm just going to say, don't buy a house where the chandelier and the pool are your number, because then you can't sell the house one day. That's where these guys get in trouble. It's the logo of the team or their number or their initials in everything, and then average Joe, rich average Joe doesn't want to buy the house with 97 everywhere.
Right, absolutely. All right, let's do the top 5 at 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Number one.
The Pirates will be waking up from a long 16-day rest, longest scheduled in program history, as we talked about on the show yesterday. Earlier this week, when Coach Blake Harrell spoke to the media, he talked about how he is going to get his guys ready to go after such a long layoff.
Yeah, I think you have 16 days off, and the big challenge is to make sure you're recover, refresh, reset, all those things. But when you go out to play, it's not like you haven't played for 16 days. You're picking up back where you left off. I think some of that is resetting and refreshing and making sure you are, back in that mode. And then we just got to, foot on the gas. It's a normal practice week. Make sure we're going to practice and physical. Make sure we're practicing fast, and make sure we're preparing to win. Make sure we're earning the right to win. No different than any other week. So you'll do some good things like normal. I think the best thing we've done is get ahead of ourselves a little bit and have time to do that, and still, staying fresh. And come Saturday, we got to make sure we're ready to go. Foot on the gas, start fast.
I just looked at the line, and it has gone from as of this afternoon, from 4.5 at the open to now 5.5 in favor of the Pirates.
Well, that's what happens when you have one fan base who is a fan base and one fan base who is parents.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, because the line moves when people place bets. And no, I don't really think parents bet on their kids' games. And we actually have this thing called a fan base and students who care.
Right. 5 I don't know if I'd touch that now. I don't know, though. 5.5, maybe. It's a touchdown game either way, I believe. I think it's going to be close. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
Normal. 11 o'clock will be the airtime on 94.3 The Game with Pirate Game Day Countdown.
Number 2.
Number 2, actually, I was supposed to do this as number 1. I went out of order. I apologize, P-Man, but we're going to talk more to Mike Mullis about this next. But today is Trey Day, making his 8th ever Major League start. It'll be his 2nd in a World Series, 5th in the postseason, going against Blake Snell. Series tied at 2, out in La La Land, trying to bring his Blue Jays back to the Eastern time zone with a 3-2 win. Can't call it the East Coast in Toronto. Not quite on the coast, but Eastern time zone.
Right. Not a coastal elite situation. By the way, this World Series is doing the best numbers since the Cubs and the Guardians back in 2016, which was one of the more higher-rated World Series of the last 25 years.
That's impressive, especially considering the Yankees were in it last year.
Correct. Well, I think the Toronto thing is interesting, and I do think too. We're still in the early stages of this Dodgers window, so the across the board disdain and fatigue is maybe not set in quite yet. Now I realize they're going for their 3rd in 6 years, but with this particular collection of players, we're looking at the window's just opened.
Yes,
and so
I agree.
Nobody's sick of them yet. Where baseball is going to have a major problem is going to be in 2 years if they lock out players.
Yeah, you got to have a problem. You got to have a season, PJ. There ain't gonna be a season in 2 years.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's going to be a problem.
It is
because people are going to say, "To hell with this" again.
Yeah,
like they did 30 years ago when baseball had some momentum, and it took juiced balls and juiced muscles to get it back. And now they run from that like it didn't happen. It'd be interesting to see what Savage does tonight. Obviously, LA's got a new look at him, or has a look at him, so this isn't going to be new to them. What adjustments do you think that a Dodgers lineup, which likes to take a first pitch, a lot of those guys do in that lineup, what adjustments do you think they make? Will they be more aggressive? We will see. A big win last night, though. And how about Vlad Guerrero Jr.? Man, talk about a star.
Dead center, baby.
Home run last night. Yeah. Creamed it. All right, Mike Mullis coming up with more on that.
3. Number 3. And this has to do with Pirate Athletics, Pirate Soccer. Senior Day is tomorrow, so be sure to head on out to Johnson Stadium, where admission is free all season long. First 100 fans will get a free ECU soccer ball. When I say free ECU soccer ball, I mean one you can fit in your hand, a normal size 5, which is the one that the ladies as well as the men's soccer team plays with, or men's soccer teams play with. That is ECU Pirates. And if you're on our video platform, a really cool-looking Pirates soccer ball here to add to your man cave or office. And they're playing Charlotte, so playing the art travel. Yeah,
let the kids kick it around.
That too.
They'll also do some trick or treat there in the concourse area before, so the kiddos can dress up in a costume and get some candy and kick around the ball. Best giveaway item, a free giveaway. I say, Pilk, tired is the bobblehead. Wired might be the soccer ball.
Yeah.
I think it's a great giveaway item.
I think so, because like you said, unlike the bobblehead, it can be multi-purpose. It can be for the man cave, or it can be to get the kids out of the house and get them some exercise. However, it could be a cold and rainy one tomorrow kicking around that soccer ball.
Well, you don't have to kick it around tomorrow necessarily. I tell you another great thing. Never mind the bobblehead. Tired is the bobblehead. You could always mass produce a Patrick Johnson, which is right now a 1-of-1, 94.3 the game base, which goes with the P-Man Funko Pop.
I was like, I always wondered this. Who gave you the P-Man Funko Pop?
Nobody gave me anything, but no, it was Hills Customs did it for me a few years ago.
I like it.
I was going to do one. I had some plans to do some other people, but it didn't work out. I can never get my order in enough time for that. I might update one at some point. Maybe we can do a Pilk one.
I like a Pilk one. While we're talking about soccer, PJ, because we're flying right along on this. Usually our time management skills are not the best when the two of us get together and we decide to have fun, but they're a little better today. Tough loss last night for Charlotte FC in that cold and rain home playoff game. So they're going to have to go up to Yankee Stadium and grab
a series.
Yeah, it is.
I'm glad you brought that up. What is that? Explain that to me.
I do need to look it up. I don't know if it's like aggregate score. I think it's aggregate score for the first two. And then if it's still tied, they play a third. But I don't think it's like a true best 2 out of 3. But let me look it up. Which is bad at
all of their playoff games in MLS?
No, it like changes round by round. That's the weird thing about it. And that's why I really don't know. I did watch it last night, but I didn't have the volume on. We had it on the second TV while we had
did you watch it?
While we had the Canes game on and the Frozen Frenzy.
How did that go last night? The Frozen. I know the Canes lost. Your Carolina Hurricanes lost.
My team won
6-3. No, I'm talking about the Royal U, not my team.
Oh, playoff system. What? Alrighty, playoff system. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it is a best of 3. The first round is a best of 3 with the higher seed hosting games 1 and 3. So they're going to have to come back. They lost 1-0 last night. Yeah, Charlotte did.
Or they could come back to Charlotte. They could come back.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to win in Yankee Stadium and then win a game 3 at home. Now, they did lose in Yankee Stadium in the regular season. However, they beat NYCFC at home when they played them. Was that a yawn because we're talking about soccer?
Yeah, it was. When I was up in the Triangle one day this summer, I put it on 99.9 The Fan, which we know people there. We like people there. Or maybe it was one of their alternative .2 channels or whatever on radio. It was something, and they were playing play-by-play of the Charlotte FC soccer team. And I cannot imagine anything worse than listening to soccer on radio.
Yeah, that's tough.
I did not.
What's the best to listen to on radio? I think baseball.
Baseball's pretty good.
Hockey, there's like too much going on.
I like NASCAR on radio.
NASCAR's probably the best. Yeah, NASCAR's better on radio than it is on TV.
It is in a lot of cases, and I like golf on radio. I'm not going to lie; that's one of my guilty pleasures. Golf on radio.
Okay, real quick, I like golf on radio, but the President's Cup, Ryder Cup, it's a little tough because you don't constantly see what every group is. But other than that, I do like golf on radio. Yeah. Alrighty. Number 4. Oh, high school volleyball.
Pilk? Is that what you're telling me? We're woefully under at this point?
No, we got about 5-6 minutes left in this segment. And maybe we can go a little longer, actually. Volleyball. State championships begin Friday. Conley will be taking on Marvin Ridge. And then on Saturday, you got J.H. Rose against Watauga and Aiden Grifton against Pine Lake Prep. And PJ can tell you more about those, considering little birdie told me he might be getting a little TV action with those. Is that correct, PJ?
Juliana Askew, who played at ECU as a setter, her and I are going to do a couple of ECU volleyball games together. But we are working together Saturday. She's working all the championship games, but we're working together Saturday at Reynolds for, as you said, Rose Wataga, but also Aiden Grifton and the Chargers will be taking on Pine Lake Prep. Also, shout out Perquimans, a True East team. They'll be in the 2A. We got them at 11 on the NFHS network against the Community School of Davidson. And then we have the 8A, which is Green Level and West Forsyth. So that's kind of interesting. Here's the quandary situation. So Friday night, we'll have coverage of the Rose Conley game. And yes, that will be Friday night. And it will be football, and Dylan Johnson and I believe Walt Pollard are going to be calling the game. And so thanks to Dylan for doing that. He does a fantastic job. So that game's got a lot riding on it. But also, what happens on Friday night in this city?
Spooky season.
Bedlam. Spooky season. Bedlam. You need all law enforcement hands on deck. And I have been told by different sources that there was efforts to try to move that game at Conley up a day, like everybody else is. A lot of people are playing Thursday night. Now, yeah, it's going to rain. Actually, I think the rain's going to be out of here by the time they would kick off. But point being that it'll be soggy. Friday night will be the better day for football, conditions-wise. But Conley, I guess, doesn't want to do that. And, I mean, there was even some pressure, as I understand it, from the central office. And Conley still would not budge, which is kind of interesting. Conley's in a real unenviable position right now, D.H. Conley, in that they have this rivalry football game with a lot on the line. I mean, this is an important game for both teams. And their volleyball team, which is excellent, has probably one of the best players, if not the best player in the state. And we're not going to – and they're going to be playing at like 3 in the afternoon up there in Winston-Salem. By the way, the great Conley player, give me a minute. Jennifer Gillikin's team, the great player, Brittany Silver, who's awesome. She's going to state. She was going to ECU, but Brittany Silver's an awesome player, amazing player. But, I mean, that's a problem for the Conley because now you got administration, fans, students that want to go to both, where if you played Thursday and then turn around Friday, you could do the whole 9, the A to the Z. But they refused, even as recently as this week, to move the game up a day. And I hate it for the girls because they're going to be in Winston-Salem playing for a championship, unfortunately for them, in the middle of the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, pretty much. 3 in the afternoon, yeah. And, the tough thing, you mentioned there, it's tough on the, what's it called, in the administration, which one to choose. And also, you mentioned the craziness that's going on in Greenville. And that, you and I were talking about this earlier today when you were wearing a different colored shirt, that when it is cool to play on Halloween as a football player. And when you're in a town where you can kind of get away with that, that's great. But when you're in a town where there's a lot going on downtown and the student sections like to get a little feisty,
Halloween's
it's a big event
holiday. But you're right, too. The student sections are going to get feisty. They always get feisty in this thing. Yeah. Rose and Conley. This will be the game where the student sections stay beyond halftime.
Yeah.
It's a novel concept.
Yeah, which makes this a little tough.
I've got a game Friday night. Clayton Cleveland, which has got some D1, P5, P4 talent on the field for both sides. And they're one of the only shows in town on Friday.
See, I liked it, but where we were, man, we were kind of in suburban America. The team we played every year Halloween weekend was not a big rivalry game. It was an important game. It was senior night sometimes. Actually, every year it was senior night, second to last game of the season. So, which is whether or not it was for them or us, but that was always kind of fun. Yeah, especially when we went there because they had some alternate orange uniforms, and our away jerseys were white, obviously. So the orange and the white, it played well, and it was kind of fun to play on Halloween. But we were in an area where you felt like you were not doing a disservice by playing on Halloween, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. Tough deal there. Tough, but hey, you're playing for a volleyball championship, so best of luck to all of the local teams. 3 from the same county going to play in the 8 classification.
5.
All righty, number 5, former Duke star, national champion Kyle Singler was arrested for a misdemeanor assault on his girlfriend. Reports are he grabbed her by the head and threw her to the ground. There's a mugshot of Kyle Singler, and oh my goodness, barely even recognized him. What up with that hair? Heef.
I don't want to draw conclusions on anything, but I mean, the disheveled look and, it does not look like a healthy situation for Kyle Singler. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like his health is very good right now. It looks like there's some extracurricular going on.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a guy who had a few years in the NBA.
That's like a guy that maybe has with some bad habit. And again, I don't know anything. I know there's a lot of rumor out there.
He's always been a really skinny guy, though.
Right, I know, but I'm not even talking about his build. I'm talking about the face and the expression and how sullen it looks. I mean, he looks like a guy that, you're right, didn't play in the NBA, but maybe took his NBA earnings and through some bad habits has burnt through them. I don't know what's going on there. It's not. And if you're a Duke fan, that is a favorable. That was the team with he and Shire and Nolan
Smith, yeah. Lance Thomas, who went on to have a pretty good NBA career, was actually probably a better NBA player than he was a college player.
Yep. Zubek was also on that team. I think he even was in the NBA.
Zoo. Yeah, he was, baby. Right. There you go. Big Zoo, 7-2.
So, I mean, that was the one that beat, if I'm not mistaken, that is the team that beat Butler. And I think that was the last time in a national championship game we did not have a dunk.
I'm not surprised because Zubek never dunked the darn ball. Matt Howard didn't have a dunk in that game?
I don't think so.
Wow. Actually, you bring up Kyle Singler's face, and it's kind of to the side like this. That may be from that screen that he took from Matt Howard that still should have been a movie. I mean, I don't see how he'd break Kyle Singler's jaw on that screen at the end of that, but every time, I'm not going to lie, I watch that, I think the shot's going in, and I kind of give a little fist bump when Gordon Hayward misses it because I think I'd be living in a hole right now that I would have dug in. That would have dug and went to go live in had Gordon Hayward made that shot. Just saying.
Think about how much things would have changed had that ball gone in.
I don't want to think about it.
Look, there was a little bit of time, too. People were thinking, well, Kay's got his 3. He's not going to win anymore.
I thought it. I remember being tore up at halftime in 2015. I was really like, this is it. It's never going to happen again. We're going to lose. Called my uncle, and he's like, I've sat through 8 of these things. We're 4-4. It's going to be okay. I know what a win feels like. I know what a loss feels like. It's going to be fine. I'm like, we're never going to lose.
By the way, I love the idea of these preseason exhibition and scrimmage games.
On TV, it's great. I've watched Cameron Boozer play twice already.
And you need to play them at East Carolina needs to play them. No more secret scrimmages against Wake or Davidson. Let's actually play an exhibition.
Here.
Places or play them here.
I agree.
And here's what I think you ought to do with these exhibition games. I think you ought to get Tennessee to come here. I mean, do it. Have Rick Barnes cash in a favor.
Yeah.
Do an exhibition, and here's what I would say: the gate receipts, or however you want to do it, you can put it towards, if you're East Carolina, your rev share and your NIL. You could also donate something to a charity in Greenville, and if Tennessee has a charity, they can.
Yeah, the Pat Summit Foundation or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but make a donation from the gate receipts. I think that'd be
that happened last year with the Arizona State and Duke game. That was a charity deal. I can't remember what charity.
Do stuff like that. They do stuff for different organizations, and I mean that's an effective way to do it, and people will like it. See Giannis walk the other night, gets the next 6 steps.
Put his walk up another court.
I mean, people are complaining about, college basketball has all these ills. NBA's unwatchable. Absolutely unwatchable. All right. We'll be back. Mike Mullis will talk Game 5 of the World Series tonight between the Dodgers and Blue Jays.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get started.
Deep breath. Here we go.
Welcome back to the program. Joining Pilk and myself right now, ECU baseball analyst for ESPN Plus, the ESPN app, Mike Mullis, the coach, joining us here. Great to have Mully on the show. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, bud. How are you?
I'm doing well. 2-2. Pivotal Game 5 tonight from Chavez Ravine. This is what the Blue Jays manager had to say about the big blow when Vlad went yard on Shohei last night.
I get that it's easy to write Ohtani versus Guerrero. To us, it's Toronto versus Los Angeles, But that swing was huge.
It's kind of epic, Mike, last night. And I was impressed with the way the Blue Jays – I've really been impressed with the way they've kind of fought this whole series, but really the way they fought back last night, because it would have been very, very easy to have folded up the proverbial tent after the 18-inning walk-off loss.
Yeah, no, they played great last night and got great start pitching out of Bieber, and they were good. I mean, they were good. They did what they always do, PJ. They battled through with bats. They managed to string them together. They don't, again, they don't strike out a whole lot. They put balls into play on the ground with 2 strikes, which makes the other team have to make plays against you. And what we saw in the 18-inning affair was the Dodgers did just that. They made the plays, and obviously going back to that game, I thought maybe Schneider got a little aggressive and managing through the bench a little bit too quick. Some of that started by the Springer injury, but yeah, last night, man, they played great. And it's funny when you listen to the announcers, Smoltz and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy.
Joe Davis.
It's so like they're so willing to make excuses for the Dodgers. Oh, we knew fatigue was going to catch up at some point. We know. Listen, both those teams are tired. And last time I checked, Toronto had to travel halfway across the world to get there. It has been involved in a dogfight since they walked in the building. So I don't know. I find that side of it interesting. Ohtani was good last night. Really did what he needed to do until the big pitch, and and it got away from the Dodgers there late.
5.5 hour flight, by the way. So yeah, darn near close to across the whole world from Toronto to LA.
Oh, please.
Hey, man, I'm trying to back Mully here, man. Why do you got to team up on both? You know what? We can team up on you, PJ. There's 2 of us and 1 of you.
You always do. You always do.
There we go. Yeah. We'll kick your rear end. Let's go.
Wired 18 innings of baseball, tired that traffic jam after 18 innings of baseball leaving Dodger Stadium. Have you guys seen the video and pictures and accounts of that? Oh, my God. Even in the best of circumstances, L.A. traffic stinks.
You know what's amazing about that, PJ? I don't know if you also saw what they're charging for parking.
Oh, yeah,
Dodger
like $80
Stadium.
or $150, somewhere in between.
Yeah. I mean, great day. That's the business to be in. I want to be the parking guy, I mean, it's kind of a low capital, like, hey, you got a couple guys out here directing traffic and drop your car off and, I need your nearly $100 to do so.
That's amazing, isn't it? That is amazing. What's the most you've ever paid for parking at something? Mully, who, by the way, Pilk, the king of being able to get a good parking space at an event. Mully has charm, and he's able to charm his way to goods. I'm not going to tell you how I know this. I just know this.
Well, PJ, sometimes we don't share all of our secrets. I have the most I've paid, I think, is, in Charlotte, when you try to go to an event downtown in Charlotte, be it, football game, whatever, you can get into the $20, $30 range pretty quickly.
Oh, sure.
And I will tell you, I'm willing to make the investment for the convenience. But I typically you have a conversation with the right person and just share your story, and they do a good enough job, they'll take care of you.
The question is, Mike, what is convenience? Is it a short walk or is it an easy out to get back to the interstate and get your rear end home? Because I would prefer to walk farther and sit in less traffic on the way out.
quite frankly, Pilk, I try to couple the two. I'm looking for, how close can I get but still have a means of egress?
There you go.
I typically I'm not opposed to leaving an event a little bit early either. Unless listen, if we're talking about a Panthers game, there's typically not a lot of reason to stay through the
not
end
a lot
of the game.
Drama.
True.
Not a lot of drama late.
So anyway, I think it is what you make of it. But you're right there. It's in the eye of the beholder as to whether you're going to be convenienced on the front end or the back end.
So Mike Mullis is a combination thereof. Pilk is the Jay Sunhalter School of Parking. Park far so you can get out quick.
Yep.
I don't mind sitting in traffic. I'd rather have a convenient close walk because I hate doing anything. So it's got to be close. It's got to be close for me because I don't like lines and I don't like, I don't like
exactly. I don't like sitting in my car in a line. That's the problem. I want to get home and watch the 4 o'clock games.
You're in your car. You can talk on your phone. You can jam your tunes. I don't mind sitting in the car. That's fine.
I was getting my rear end away from the Panthers Stadium the other day, go home and watch NASCAR. There's sports on when I get home. There's always something else on. If you're at a Hornets game, there's 10 o'clock games on. If you're at a football game, there's 4 o'clock games on. There's always something on TV. I'd rather watch TV than sit in my car.
Yeah. Well, so here we are, pivotal Game 5 tonight, Mully. What we'll get into the Trey Savage v. Blake Snell rematch, but just from the standpoint of where these teams are right now, having split games in both cities, how does this play out in what will be the final baseball game of the year in Los Angeles?
I like Trey's had a couple outings that he was certainly battled through, kind of workman-like effort, not necessarily having his best stuff. I think maybe he puts it together tonight. And look, they still need a little length out of the starters, and that's been a little bit of a challenge for maybe more for the Blue Jays, who are a little better in the bullpen, at least a little more fresh and a little deeper. From the beginning of this thing, man, and I've been asked a number of times, I like the Blue Jays' chances. I like where they're at. And listen, I understand that sitting over there in that Dodger dugout is, 3 of the best players and definitely arguably the best player that's ever played the game when you look at Shohei and then Mookie and Freddie Freeman. It's going to be interesting to me. I do expect, and it's been made kind of public knowledge through Dave Roberts, that there will be a shakeup in the lineup. They're going to do something to try to get Mookie in a position to get hot. So I also think another big part of this story is we saw Shohei coming in to the last game of the last series, really had a great postseason, was hitting about $185, $190. Obviously caught fire, had the 3 home runs and 10 strikeouts on the mound, and since then has been playing slow pitch softball. But he's due to cool. It's hard to keep that pace, and I think that favors the Blue Jays. I think obviously they've made it apparent that he is the guy that's circled on the lineup card. They're not going to let him beat them. You still got to get through Mookie and Freddie, and Will Smith's no free out, and Kike Hernandez is no. So they're good, but I don't feel like this is a situation where the Blue Jays. Obviously it's a 2-2 game, Game 5. It's where you want to be. You're going back to Toronto. But I tell you, man, I still like Toronto's chances.
And Pilk, you could speak to this too, but there's guys in this Jays lineup who have had some good success against Snell historically. Does that matter in something like this, Mike? Because it's such a as I did hear Smoltz say the other day, it's a 3-0 count and a guy throws a strike and the crowd erupts because, there's just more on every pitch. Everything's much heavier when you get to this level. So can any of that with Kirk and others translate over to any success for the Blue Jays?
Yeah, look, anytime that you look at the charts, and these guys, they have, meetings before games, and it probably even at this point, they know what they got in Snell. They've already faced him. There's confidence comes with that. And I think that the biggest difference is when you're facing Trey Savage, you can know, especially, again, if he's got the fastball working and the splitty, you can know what you're going to get. You still can't get to it. It's different. Snell's pitch is that changeup. It's a pitch that can be put in play. Now, when it is at its best, it's obviously more difficult. But I don't think. I think the difference comes down to the fact that the Blue Jays use all three strikes, they use all three outs. They don't hit a tremendous amount of fly balls. That kind of works in their favor facing Snell. He's not necessarily a huge fly ball guy, obviously with the changeups and ground ball pitch, and they just play. Both teams play outstanding defense, but I feel like the defensive edge even goes to the Blue Jays a little bit. So, I like where they're at. And answer to your question, yeah, familiarity breeds some level of confidence, and that can work both ways. But you got to also look at the strikeout numbers for Savage. The
Sure.
Dodgers are aware of that, and that he's got a lot of swing and miss.
So it is a trade day, which Mike Mullis coined the phrase, Pilk, by the way.
He did.
And he gets no credit for it whatsoever.
And everybody uses it. It's not like this is something that the three people on this video right now. Everybody uses trade day. It's because Mike used it. Trey's was it his sophomore year, Trey or Mike, that you used it first on the ESPN telecast?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was a sophomore year, and we did the Open, and I just PJ kind of made a comment what to expect, and I said, people around here have affectionately started referring to this as Trey Day, the day that Trey Savage takes the mound for the Pirates, and so that was, it's a cool thing. I should have gone Pat Riley on it, like the 3-peat, right? We should have thrown the
right.
thrown the old TM up there, but
and when he said it at the time, Pilk, when he said people around here call it trade day, he meant himself, and now everybody does.
Correct.
Exactly.
Again,
that is
much
exactly
like those
right.
glasses,
It was not. PJ, your point is a valid one. I never had heard anybody say that, but it just seemed like
right.
People around here should call this trade day.
Call it trade day.
So we took a little.
Much like those glasses, Mully is on the cutting edge of societal evolution. That's Mike Mullis, ladies.
I do have a question for you, Mike, as it relates to this series and Trey specifically. Last series we saw Gausman go game 1 and Trey go game 2. And because they are such similar pitchers, it kind of put Trey at a disadvantage. Is the reason you think they went with Trey game 1 and game 5 and Gausman 2 and 6 is because they wanted the more veteran guy to be the second guy of the two, considering they are so similar? Or was there, am I looking too deep into this? They just felt better about Trey than they did about Gausman. What is your, thought on why they went with Trey game 1 and now game 5?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pilk, and one that I hadn't thought of. And there are an awful lot of similarities between the two. It could have been just as simple as, hey, let's get the young guy out there, let's get his feet wet. If we get roughed up, it's okay. We have a bounce back game at home. I don't know. Could have been, just talking. The pitching guy goes down and has a conversation with the staff and says, okay, here's what we're thinking, and that conversation ensues. I don't know. That's a great point, and it would be a maybe an end of the series great question that to be asked to the staff there. But I 100% see your point. I just don't have a real good answer.
Pilk made that point the other day, and I've used it since then. I think it was a great point on Pilk's part, and I think too you probably want Savage, even though this is pivotal tonight in a game 5 rather than a game 6 back at your place with the possibility of closing out again. Just not that you wouldn't want Savage, just a veteran guy. With all that said, Shohei struck out against him and was 0 for 2 in game 1. What adjustments do you expect the Dodgers to make against Savage tonight?
Look, it's real simple. Again, they didn't get him with his best fastball. So if he's got his best fastball, he can give him a different look. The deal is now Trey has opened up the top of the strike zone, which we did not see him do in college. It was, bottom of the zone, a lot of balls in the dirt. That was always a concern with him, quite honestly, was the fear of the pass ball in a big situation. But if he's got the fastball and he can tunnel the fastball and the splitty at the top of the zone, then the only thing the Dodgers really have to go to is trying to be disciplined enough to lay off the splitty that fall out of the bottom of the zone. So I think they're going to have to make kind of what what I like to call like an in-flight adjustment. Like it's going to have to be during the at-bat. What are you seeing? And then as the outing goes on, okay, listen, he's got the top of the zone. He's owning that. He's got the big fastball. It's got life. Let's try to spit on that splitty down and see if we can get him to throw more pitches and get us back into hitters' counts. But I really think that's really all they've got. If he's got his stuff, they're just going to have to go up there and fight. And again, a team that does hit the ball in the air a lot, a team that, they fight through at bats, but don't put nearly the pressure on the defense that the Blue Jays do.
Mully, a story unrelated to all of this is Tony Vitello taking the job at San Francisco as the manager, leaving Tennessee. A first ever from the standpoint of a college guy going to be a manager right away. I think there was a case like back in the 50s where a guy went from college coaching and went on staff and eventually would manage one of those teams. For some reason, I want to say it was Washington, but it may not have been. But again, that's back before any of us were born. So, was that a surprising move to you? And is this something that we might? Why is he the good fit there? And is this something that may happen in other circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, and you've got that situation right now with the manager of the Brewers, and I cannot believe, was at Arizona State and at Notre Dame.
Pat Murphy. Yeah.
Pat Murphy. Murph
Yep.
Murph made that transition. You've seen it go the other way. Eric Wedge was the manager with the Cleveland Indians and then came back to his alma mater at Wichita State. So, yeah, I mean, is Vitello the guy? I don't know. It's kind of funny as this – it's kind of like with anything else, is this thing has kind of come to pass. The story behind it has grown. It's kind of like a fishtail, It was a 12-incher, then it was a 14-incher, and then it was Moby Dick. But, it's kind of become there was some conversation with the GM of the Giants when they were in looking at players. And, it came up at that point that if this, hey, if you guys ever make a move, I might be interested. So who knows really how it came to pass. It's going to be an interesting transition to watch. He's theoretically taken a pay cut to take this position. I do feel like it's probably an easier job from the standpoint of you don't have the recruiting. You can eliminate the NIL. I mean, there's a lot of things that are in the college game that aren't in the pro game and vice versa. But it'll be interesting to see what personality the Giants take on with Vitello, because clearly the culture he had created at Tennessee was very much reflective of how he was as a head coach. So it'll be interesting. Do I think it opens the door for this down the road? If it works, certainly. I mean, sports are a copycat society. So if it works, I fully expect to see it happen multiple times.
Who wins tonight and why? Game 5 of the World Series, Mully.
If you give a nod just purely on you go home team, but I just if Trey Savage has the good fastball, I just think he's going to be too much for him, and I think if he could get into the 6th inning, that would be a huge advantage Blue Jays, in my opinion, because I really feel like that offense has what it takes to score runs in droves. But again, man, they're just so competitive in their bats, and they take advantage of every strike and every out they're given, and they put the pressure on the defense. So, I know that's a non-answer, and it's hard for me to pick against Trey. But I think it's going to be another good one. And quite honestly, man, this has been a really fun series to watch.
Hey, Mike, thanks. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, catch you guys a little later on.
The great Mike Mullis with us. Stay tuned. We'll wrap it up right after this.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
NBC is putting out this, NBA games on Tuesdays on the actual broadcast network. Doubleheader, I believe. And they've got Michael Jordan as a contributor. MJ opens up on why he's not a fan of load management. You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I agree.
Preach it, MJ. That's why you're the GOAT, not LeBeijing.
You know, there are ills in college basketball. There's too much roster fluidity. Freedom of movement is hampered no matter what. They let it become a grabby fest. That's the one thing the NBA does much better than in college basketball is they let their offensive players play. They don't let them. They call stuff when people try to hold and grab and that kind of thing. College doesn't do that. But the college product is so much more interesting night in, night out than the NBA.
There's more sets on off. It's the offensive sets that are ran in college basketball.
But there's a variety of things you can watch. You know who plays at in North Carolina later this year, and the coach wants to go see him?
Who?
My dad. St. Mary's. He's a St. Mary's. That's his West Coast team. He likes watching
Gales
St.
fan?
Mary's play. Yeah. I need to find out what day. It's a weeknight. Maybe that's the long-awaited Pilk P-Man coach road trip. Your backyard.
Wait, where
St.
are they
Mary's
playing?
Hoops. Playing at Davidson is what he told me.
Okay.
He could be wrong.
Hey, I'm down.
Belk Arena.
All
right.
I probably can get us. If it's Davidson, I might be able to get us free tickets. We'll see. I can't promise.
If you could get free tickets for Coach, you would be his BFF forever.
I know. Let's see. We got about a minute left
We
in the
could
show
figure out
here.
where to do the show that day. We'll figure it out.
Might be able to. Oh, never mind. They're Learfield. We can't. So might be able to hop on their radio equipment. The reason my connection is the radio announcer at Davidson, but I don't think we can hop on Learfield equipment. Might all get fired. So.
No, we can't hop on Learfield equipment. We'll figure out it. Maybe they won't have the Buc-ee's built by then. We could go. I say we could do it at Buc-ee's in Burlington, but they're not, I don't think it'll be built by then.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to Mike Mullis. Enjoy your trade day. Preempted tomorrow. Back on Friday to wrap it up for the week. Get you ready for East Carolina and Temple.